This wild horse waited patiently to express his sincere gratitude to his savior. We accomplish things in life that fill us with pride very frequently. This is the tale of one such occasion. Who knew it would become a once-in-a-lifetime experience for the unfortunate creature who had a moral duty to give thanks to his rescuer, and that it would not be forgotten? Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. The fact that so many people may have gone by, yet no one cared to help, is the reason this story has touched people's hearts all across the world. Heroes are people exactly like us, not aliens. Their desire to put in the work and take the chance on doing the right thing sets them apart. That's the main theme of today's narrative. Romania, a European nation renowned for its stunning ancient cities, breathtaking natural beauty, and rich cultural variety, is where this tragedy occurred. Travelers have said that Romania seems to transport them back in time. Since horses remain a part of their everyday lives, the people of the nation still have a fondness for them. Regarding horses, there's a 150-year-old celebration that features a procession of outfits from the 1800s, carriages pulled by horses, regional cuisine, live music, and unique shows. However, what was captured on camera that day was nothing more than enlightening. There are two primary reasons why we are discussing horses here. First, Romania is known for its horses. Second, a horse is the subject of our tale today. You'll agree with us when we say that he is not your typical animal after seeing the upcoming video. During the most sensitive moment, he undoubtedly took the most unexpected action. If you treat them well, horses may be a man's closest friend. They will gladly spend their entire lives supporting and caring for you. Horses are noble animals. They have remained close to humans from the beginning of time and are renowned for their devotion. A poor horse was in excruciating discomfort. All around the world, animals are abused. Sure, everyone loves their pet, but very few people make the effort to preserve the others. One such animal was the stunning black horse, and there's no surprise that Romanians have long been aware of the cause of his suffering. With his front feet shackled, the poor little horse could hardly walk. Horses' front or rear feet are frequently tied up, a tradition that is prevalent in many nations, including Romania. The horse is in discomfort and may not survive since he may slip and fall when attempting to pass any kind of fence. You might imagine, after all, that a horse tied up will die in the same place, since he will be unable to get back up on his feet. This horse had the same destiny up until his guardian angel intervened. Regardless of a creature's strength or bravery, people will always find a method to defeat them. This is exemplified by the horse that a hunter chained to ensure he would never go too far away and could always be tracked down. When Ovidiu Rosu, a man, spotted the horse from a distance, he knew right once that something wasn't right. He was aware that he was expected to move quickly, but he was unaware of the horse's response. Even though horses are revered by many as creatures whose ancestors have assisted humans in traveling great distances and engaging in many conflicts, they are still mostly used for competitive riding. Ovidiu felt he had to act to rescue the baby horse as soon as he spotted it. The possibility of getting injured by the horse didn't seem like a problem to him because he was so desperate to assist. When someone approaches a horse, they may get hostile. Ultimately, this horse was afraid of the people who had bound him. He was nearly guaranteed to forbid any human from approaching him in such a situation. Ultimately, he had no idea who was trying to murder him or who was trying to assist him. The horse was fortunate that day because Ovidiu wasn't afraid that the horse's instinctive movement would injure him. The risk was elevated because the horse was not even by itself. Normally, horses are quite peaceful creatures who only cause trouble when they are afraid or imprisoned. Even though this horse was stuck, there was a good possibility it would kindly allow Ovidiu to complete his task and escape. However, there was no certainty. Ovidiu was entering this without giving the wild horse any medication. He was a veterinarian with 4 Paws, an international animal welfare group. As a result, the man was skilled at what he did, and it wasn't a simple work to begin with. This was undoubtedly not Ovidiu's first time sparing a life in a nation where horses are captured for fun or hunting. He'd done it with tigers, horses, birds, monkeys, eagles, and more many times in the past. He works around the clock to preserve these untamed lives. But for the young veterinarian, what was going to happen with this horse was an opportunity of a lifetime. Ovidiu needed to prepare ahead of time, but he was undoubtedly going to aid this horse. As in, what if he gets wounded by the horse? He didn't particularly care about that portion, so he kept it at the bottom of his list. What would happen if the horse's mobility was already impaired? How can the horse be stopped from moving? How can I liberate him without causing him any more pain? How can I be certain that he hasn't sustained any significant injuries? Finally, how can I let him go with ease? Ovidiu was drawing nearer to the horse's back end. Every time the horse attempted to walk, it would fail. He was hopping about a little to get ahead. Iron was used to make the shackles that held him captive, and they were undoubtedly quite painful for him. Now was the moment to grab hold of the wild horse and assess his paw problem first. Ovidiu's instincts were right, and neither the captive horse nor his companions attempted to harm him. Since it was one of these humans who had tied the young horse, we are not exactly sure what it was that kept him quiet when a stranger was approaching him. Can animals detect positive energy? In the beginning, he gave off the impression that he trusted Ovidiu, as though he thought the man was there to assist. Anything that transpired during those minutes was extraordinary. The veterinarian from the area, Ovidiu, moved quickly because he didn't want to put the animal in risk. He had a piece of crimson fabric that he would cover the young horse's eyes with to keep him still. Given that wild animals suddenly stop moving as it becomes dark, this is the first thing a human should do while attempting to save one. This approach is usually applied when the wild animal, be it a fish, bird, or horse, is not sedated and you are attempting to assist it. Ovidiu was to tend to the wounds on the horse's feet now that he had covered its face with a scarlet cloth. He couldn't just go ahead and break the chains right now since he may get some sepsis spread all over his body from his feet. The shackles were securely fastened around his hooves when he checked them. At first, there were only 2 people watching everything. When Ovidiu finally saw the lovely beast, he was accompanied by 2 other horses and his comrade. Beside his pal, one of the horses was standing to see how the other was doing. However, he wasn't afraid because Ovidiu's friend was filming things with his video camera. The next events were astonishing. The second horse, standing close by, was observing everything as the tethered one lay down peacefully. Ovidiu looked at the unfortunate horse's wounds. His flesh was being severed by the tight bondage, which had now reached his bone. Granted, the primary goal of preventing the horse from fleeing was accomplished, but how inhumane that the animal was in excruciating pain in the first place. He might never be able to walk again if the chain lingered on his feet for much longer. As a qualified veterinarian, Ovidiu was aware of precisely what needed to be done. He carried the implement with which the chains might be undone. The horse's flesh was visible at this stage due to the wounds and bruises, and he also required the appropriate medicine. Even though happy animals heal more quickly, and the horse would undoubtedly be happy once he was free, the necessary medical care had not yet been provided. The veterinarian acted quickly because he didn't want this wound to heal badly. Additionally, the usual blood flow is stopped when the ankles are tight. Equipped with his wire cutters, the veterinarian got to work releasing the horse. One thing to watch out for was the horse's response once he was released. Excited, he may do something that could injure Ovidiu, as well as the cloth was taken from his eyes. The veterinarian began utilizing the wire cutters in a way that stopped hurting the horse's wounds. The work that Ovidiu completed in the video may have appeared simple, but it wasn't because of the heavy chains. He was extremely careful to move his hands in the proper places since he didn't want the horse to endure any more suffering. Ovidiu was able to remove the shackles after a little while. He discovered something that was hurting the horse considerably more after he cut the shackles. The veterinarian saw something quite unsettling right after the shackles, as if that wasn't enough. The horse had been tethered for days, the veterinarian discovered. He began releasing the shackles from his hooves one by one. The horse appeared to be in severe pain since he was breathing loudly and showing signs of impatience. Anyone would have considered for a split second to back off and avoid the horse, but Ovidiu continued with his task. It was a chaotic state of affairs. Ovidiu cut off the majority of the chain. By now, the horse was becoming anxious. It was time to take off the shackles entirely and give his hooves the right kind of medicine. But the horse didn't appear to be in a cheerful disposition. He put on his gloves, cut the shackles, and took the wiry tangle out of the center of his paws. The horse began to move, but when the chain began to come loose, he remained still. He was motionless, which greatly facilitated Ovidiu's task. It was time to start the young man moving after extracting the jagged bones from his hoof. Since his second hoof had the same wounds, Ovidiu carefully began tending to it as well, where the jagged wires were embedded deeply in his flesh. Despite his suffering, the horse remained still and composed, without bothering the veterinarian who was doing him a service. The animal appeared to have begun to trust the veterinarian, whom he had recently met and who was attempting to assist him. The shackles were nearly detached. The veterinarian was nearly done. The animal could walk, but because some of the cables were securely wrapped, he couldn't run. Ovidiu needed more time to remove all the cables, and the horse let him take as much time as he needed. This was a rather rare sight, as injured animals typically become fearful and are reluctant to trust people. Ovidiu took his time to make sure that the horse's hoof was completely free of any remaining wire. He wished for the horse's suffering to end. Finally, their perseverance paid off. When the horse felt at last free, he inhaled deeply. Ideally, there was only one more thing to do, but something else happened that left everyone in the area distraught. In order to see if the horse would be able to walk correctly, Ovidiu took off the towel from his face and assisted him in getting back up on his feet. The horse did not dash into the forest, but he was courteous and erect. Rather, he paused there for a long time. After Ovidiu had just saved his life, he gave him the most satisfying thing. When Ovidiu saw the animal standing again, he was overcome, and that's when the horse did something unexpected. He approached Ovidiu, walked up to him, kissed him, and turned away. The veterinarian responded with a kind grin, even if it was so sudden and impulsive that she briefly missed it. They were strangers only a few hours earlier, but now they were sufficiently close. The veterinarian has never felt better than when the horse showed him gratitude. Now that he was confident in himself, he was prepared to say goodbye. The horse was saved by Ovidiu after everything that he had to endure over the previous several days, and he used the opportunity to express his gratitude to him. Here's the spectacular moment captured on camera. The video became an instant sensation on YouTube because it was so heartfelt. This tale demonstrates how animals are often mistreated by humans, but when we provide for them, they come to understand. Do not forget to tell your friends about this incredible tale. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.